Hi, my name is Tong, and I'm going to talk about clean water. Every day we consume clean water and we use it in all sorts of ways. We use it to brush our teeth, to take showers, and to drink, to survive. The United States uses up to 80 to 100 gallons of water a day, which is quite a lot. And water is very essential to our lifestyle, but we sort of abuse it because we have clean water access everywhere in the United States. And here's how water supply distribution works in a first world country. We get a water from a source like a pond that collects water from rain, and it goes to the treatment plant, which filters the water through various chemical processes and is stored in a storage tank and then distributed to households like the ones we live in right now. And this is how a water supply system works in a developed country. And here's a map of the globe of how clean water is distributed. As you can see here, in the North American region and Europe and East Asia and India, above 90% of the population has access to clean water. However, in regions such as the Sub-Saharan Africa, countries like Congo have a below 50% rate for clean water. And unclean water is actually consumed by a lot of people. 66.3 million people around the world do not have access to clean water, which is a lot of people. And it causes poor sanitation, directly causes poor sanitation because you need water to improve sanitation. And 2.3 billion people lack access to basic sanitation, such as a toilet, which is essential to keep disease out of the way. And what's in unclean water? Unclean water causes many types of diarrheal diseases, such as diarrhea. And it can cause dehydration, which needs water to fix, so it's a very toxic cycle. And it can also cause cholera. And worse, it can cause guinea worm disease, which is a disease can cause infection in the digestive system, which can ultimately lead to death. And hepatitis A, which is the bacteria or virus seen as below. And the effects of diarrhea. The effects of drinking unclean water can cause diarrhea, which again causes dehydration and needs the water to fix. Nausea, which causes headache. Stomach upset, which again needs water to fix. And vomiting, which causes dehydration. And all these can effectively lead to death, which is the worst thing, of course. Some sad facts. Around 3.4 million deaths each year happen worldwide due to unclean water, and 1,000 children die each day due to preventable water and sanitation-related diarrheal diseases. In 2017, 151 million worldwide under age 5 suffered from stunting, one of the main diseases like diarrhea. And this is a huge deal because 151 million children can essentially mean a lot of population in the long run. So it is a huge deal. So solutions to unclean water. We have some companies have developed different types of light straws, and what they do essentially is you suck in unclean water through the end of the tube, and the main part of the tube is basically a filtration that filtrates unclean water and to the mouthpiece of the life straw. This will help. However, the cost of building a life straw for everyone is way too high to sustain. A second solution is to harvest water through renewable renewable resources like fog or rain. Now, this is a good idea because it's renewable and you can do this in the long run. However, fog and rain in Saharan or in the Sahara Desert is very unpredictable and very inconsistent, so it might not work. And the third solution is to get more help from developed countries, which is basically what's happening right now. So, despite the sad news, there are improvements made throughout the last decade. Right now, 91% of the world's population now have access to improved drinking water. So only 9% of the population is actually drinking unclean water in a consistent basis. 91% of the world has access to clean water, which is okay because 9% still have to drink unclean water every day. And 8 out of 10 of the people who live in rural areas are still without a source of improved drinking water. So 8 out of 10 people in the world who live in rural areas such as Mongolia or some Saharan tribe are people without improved drinking water. Now, this might not be a big deal for some because they can get water from sources such as a lake. However, for people who do not have a consistent water source, this is a big deal because they need water to survive. And 663 million people still lack access to drinking water source in the world right now. So 663 million people are still looking for ways to drink water, and we can help up on that. And only 68% of the global population now uses improved sanitation facilities, which leaves 32% of this population without proper sanitation, which is huge considering how much people die from bacterial diseases led by unclean sanitation. And 2.1, however, for the last decade, 2.1 billion people have gained access to improved sanitation since 1990, which is a huge number considering only 663 million people right now don't have improved sanitation, 68% of population. And here are 6 goals set by the United Nations by 2030. The first one is to achieve universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all. Now, this can be achieved through, let's say, the life draw, or through building a water pond that collects water in a very renewable way and consistent, of course. The second way is to achieve access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all and open defecation, which means to build toilets and have proper sanitation for all people around the globe. And the third one is to improve water quality by reducing pollution, by eliminating the waste dump in lakes or other harmful ways that can cause unclean water. And this is essentially important in developing countries. The fourth is to implement integrated water resources management at all levels, which is to help developing countries to control their clean water better so they can distribute it better. And the fifth way is to protect and water-related ecosystems, such as mountains and lakes, which helps with renewable resources. And the sixth way is to expand international cooperation and capacity building support to developing countries, which basically means, again, getting help from first world countries or developed countries. And this can all lead to a better future, which causes reduced death rate, improved sanitation, population growth in developing countries, and secure a clean, sustainable future. And this is all possible if we put in our best interest in developing clean water for everyone. And these are my citations. Thank you.